Have you ever thought that there has to be a better way to generate leads? A way to reliably find your clients and get your product or service in front of your clients without having to manually scrape a bunch of data? If you did, you are right. There is a better way to generate leads, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how it works, how I've used it for myself, and how hundreds of businesses are using it to get dozens of clients as we speak. It uses something called Super Search, and it's about to turn everything you know about lead gen upside down. Before I show you exactly what Super Search is and how you can leverage it to generate dozens of leads every single day for your business, I have to explain why this is such a game changer. First and foremost, getting leads can be super expensive because there's so many different softwares that offer lead generation services and leads that you can basically filter and acquire. If I just go to Google and I type in lead lists, there's literally pages and pages of softwares providing leads. The problem with this is that each database probably has their own set of leads. So what that makes me do is I have to go through each database, pull my filters, and compare and contrast, export all these into CSV files, add them to one big file to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my total addressable market. The other problem with this is that it is expensive. If I have all these different software subscriptions, it's going to cost me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single month just to acquire leads. The second reason this is a game changer is I would basically hire people to pull lists manually. So I would have VAs basically type in chiropractors, and I would have them go through the map section, and I would have them go through every single chiropractic office or every single niche that I have, find their email on LinkedIn, add it to a list. And the problem with this is it was super time consuming. It wasn't efficient whatsoever. I had to employ multiple people to be doing this for me, and it became just a time suck. And I didn't even know if the leads that we were getting were actually legit. Ultimately, it became more expensive than being able to leverage what we're going to be doing when it comes to Super Search. What I would also do is I would have them pull from like directories like the BBB or Yelp or review sites and try to find all of the customers in my total addressable market and do this manually with VAs. Again, such a time suck. It took a ton of time and it just wasn't efficient because you can only get so many leads in one day, especially when you're doing it manually, and the integrity of that can be a little bit tricky. All in all, guys, really the old way is having 10 different softwares, getting incomplete data, or manually scraping directories and lists yourself, which is, again, such a time suck. That's why I'm super pumped to show you Super Search, which is the newest way to find and enrich leads using AI. It concludes a database of over 450 million emails that we get access to, which is more than double than what we had before with Instantly's Lead Finder. Let me show you exactly how this works and how you can leverage Super Search to get the most leads possible in your total addressable market, get the best data possible, land in the inbox, and ultimately book more meetings and grow your business. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to instantly.ai. What you'll see on the left-hand side is a tab for Super Search. A few different options that we can do here, a few different things that we can do is we can go ahead and select like our filters, like if we wanted job titles, location, industry, and keywords, I can go ahead and select those. So let's just say I want to find CEOs in the United States. I want industry to be, let's just say construction. As we can see, a list of over 12,000 people came up, which is a significant amount of people. Now what I can do on the right-hand side is I can go ahead and click on enrich. What you'll see is an enrichment process for the work email. What this is doing, it's doing what we call a waterfall search. If one database can't find the email of the person that we're trying to find, then it'll move on to the next one, then it'll move on to the next one, then it'll move on to the next one, etc., etc. And what this does is this ensures the person that we're emailing, we have their correct email. And then secondly, it's making sure we're getting the most amount of emails inside of our total addressable market, which is paramount when growing your business because we want to reach all of the people in our addressable market so that we don't miss out on any prospective clients. The second thing that we can see here is fully enriched profile. So what this is going to do, it's going to basically find personal information about the prospect. It's going to find stuff like the contact data, the headline of the contact, company description, company headcount, how many LinkedIn connections that they have, and more. So this gives us data, us ammunition that we can learn more about our prospects and leverage specific information from our prospects in order to write better emails and get to know who we're actually emailing. So all I have to do is go ahead and click on continue. I'm just going to enrich the first 25 leads. And what you'll see happen is the process of enrichment. So as you can see here, it's going through the process of finding the emails. And not only is it finding the emails, but it's verifying it, and we're only paying for the verified email. So we're only paying to really have confidence that the emails that we're going to send to the people that they pull are in fact going to land in the inbox. Not only this, if we keep scrolling to the right, we can see the enrichment process is underway and has been completed. What we'll be able to see is their full profile, the contact headline from LinkedIn, a contact summary, their job level, department, company industry, company sub-industry, company description, website, company size, connections. So it will give us a good amount of information that we'll be able to leverage as we start to write our email copy, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So as we can see here, it is looking like it is fully complete. Looks like it went through the enrichment process. Looks like it was able to find some emails from going through the waterfall. So not only is it going through the full enrichment process, is it going through the waterfall search to make sure we're finding all of the emails of the list that we're able to find, but it is giving us the option to add a column, which is pretty cool, guys. Let me walk through each section of these 3 different things that we can include using Super Search. Let's start with AI. So if I click on Use AI, what it will allow us to do is write a prompt using AI. And I can connect Anthropic, which would be Claude. I can connect OpenAPI. I can connect my XAI, DeepSeek, my Google API key, and so much more. So I have different opportunities, different things that I can tap into, different API keys, different AI tools that I can tap into to write the best prompt. Not only that, but there's hundreds, really hundreds of templates that we can pull from. But in this case, what we can do is we can write our own. So if I just click on something like based on the headline or summary, write me a personalized line in 1 sentence, sharing something that we have in common, make it short, direct, don't use their first name, make it sound as human as possible, have it read like noticed where something in comment, super good to connect, make it up to 10 words. What I can do is I can quickly hit generate. What will happen is it'll start to generate a column of a personalized line based off of the contact summary and the contact headline. So that's an example. We can create our own, we can test them out, and we can figure out what's going to be best for the prospects, for the list of who we're actually reaching out to. Or what we can do for speed is we can use the templates inside of the AI. That's the first thing. Now what we can do is we can also write an email using AI. So let's just say something like, we help construction companies become #1 on Google in 90 days. And what I can do is I can click on generate. I can enrich the first 25 emails. And what this will actually do is it'll use AI to write email copy if we wanted to use AI to write our email. So not only can we write personalized lines, we can write the actual copy of the email and test the copy of the email. But what we can do is we can add other things to enrich. Let's just say you want to find people with specific job listings. What we can do is we can click on the enrichment tool and we can update and run. And what it'll do is it'll find the jobs that this company has posted. So if you're doing something in recruiting, this is massive. Let's just say we want to see what technologies that they're using. Maybe you're targeting e-commerce companies. What I could do is I could select that, update it and run it. And that will show me the technologies that they are using. So let's just say you're working with e-com companies and you want to see if they're using Shopify or Klaviyo or specific technology that will allow you to know that they're in fact marketing or doing something specific. Company news, if I wanted to figure out the latest news from the company, perfect. I can do the same thing there. If I wanted to find if they've been funded and what kind of funding that this company has had, cool. I can also do that as a means of potentially qualifying them or leveraging that in my personalized lines. So without having to have any software engineering background or using another software to manually scrape websites, everything is done completely for us within Super Search. This is a complete game changer and is going to change the game as it pertains to us being effective with cold email and booking more meetings. Okay, last but not least, we can also add a new text column if we wanted to manually write personalized lines or manually write and filter based off of specific data that we've been able to pull from the search. So now that we have this list, it's fully enriched with all the data that we want to use inside of our emails. There's a few things that we can do with this. So one, we can export this if we wanted to. So if you have a different CRM or you're using other tools, you can just simply hook up your CRM or the other tools and you can export it to that specific account. The other thing that you can do is you can also add leads to here. So let's just say you have a list of leads from somewhere, or you are getting leads from a different software, a different CRM. What you can do is you can import them, add them in there, and then also go through the enrichment process to make sure that your data integrity is the strongest. And you can scrape the data, you can enrich them using the different enrichment tools that we came up with. There's so much that we can do with this that you're able to leverage in order to get the most out of the leads and contacts that you have for your your business. This is a complete game changer. Now it becomes really, really simple. This will save as a lead list inside of Instantly, where we can easily access at any time and load them into a campaign. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to campaigns. I'm going to click add new, and then I'm just going to say construction companies, V1, let's call it. And I'm creating a campaign inside of Instantly so that I can start sending emails to the prospects that I've just created. So then what I can do is I can go back to my super search. I can go to my lead list. I can pull up the lead list that I came up with. I can select my leads. And what I can do is I can move them to the campaign of construction companies V1. So basically we found 14 verified leads and 14 leads with all of the information that we need. So now if we go to leads, we've been able to upload all of the leads that we've been able to enrich. Depending on your list and what comes up with the enrichment and the personalized lines, what you could do is you could download the selected list and you could delete some of the leads that may not have the company headline that you weren't able to leverage with AI or whatever it could be. But you can filter by company description being empty, because obviously that would be important to leverage using AI. So now let's go to our campaign, and what we can do is we can go to sequences and we can begin writing copy for that specific avatar. So for my subject line, I'm just going to say hi, first name. And then what we can do is we can simply write our copy inside of here. For copy, you have an option to go ahead and use the variable of the AI email if you wanted to. So if we click on preview, that would automatically populate the email that had come up, which is really nice. You can also go ahead and say something like hi, first name, and then we can add the variable of the personalized line that we came up with. But in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make this short and sweet for the purpose of this video. So let's just say my offer is SEO for construction companies. So what I did is I just wrote a simple piece of copy. The framework that you can steal, how I did this was basically came up with something polarizing to get their attention. Then I basically came up with my offer, like notice you're a little bit buried. That's why we help construction companies like yours land in the #1 spot on Google in 90 days without spending money on ads. And then after the offer, what I'm doing is I'm throwing in a couple of case studies, and then I'm doing a call to action of offering to send them a personalized video on how this actually works. Then what we can do is we can also send follow-up emails. So what I did is I just wrote 2 follow-up emails on the initial email. So basically the framework here is the opener and then the follow-up emails associated with it. Then what I can do is I can go ahead and click on schedule. I can pick my time schedule. Maybe I want to do 7 days a week. You can pick the time zone, and I just click on options and then launch. As you can see, Super Search is an absolute game changer when it comes to making sure you're getting as many leads as possible in your total addressable market, landing in the inbox, giving you leverage and data to write the best emails possible to get the most responses and book calls, and be able to ultimately grow your business. Now, obviously in this video, I'm just showing you how to generate leads, but that leaves a lot out of the picture, like creating an offer, refining your website, and everything that you really need to know how to do in order to use this whole process effectively. So click on the video on the screen where we started and sold a service-based offer in just 10 hours. From creating the offer to designing the logo, the website, the sales pitch, and of course the lead gen system using cold email. And as a result of the experience, we actually booked quite a few calls and got some customers, which was a pretty cool experience. So again, just click on the video on the screen if you want to see everything in practice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you over there.